So today I'm going to interview Wendy Perkins, who is a counsellor and author of the fantastic book, Want to Lose Weight but Hooked on Food. And Wendy counsels people about a lot of issues, but she's really very good in helping people with food addictions. Is that you? Are you addicted to food? Let's ask Wendy. Hi, Wendy.
Hello, Sandra.
So, Wendy, tell us, what is food addiction? How do you know if you're a food addict?
Food addiction is when you're using food for comfort. When you're not hungry, but you're still heading for food to make yourself feel better.
Yeah, so you don't need to eat physically, you don't feel hungry,
No.
but you'll eat for what, emotional?
Satisfaction. You use food for a satisfaction to feel better.
Yes.
Short term, it does, short term.
Okay, short term. So could you say like one Tim Tam is too many and 1,000's not
And
enough?
100's not enough, yes,
Yes.
definitely.
And is there a feeling of loss of control?
Definitely, it's a psychological and a physiological. Once you take that biscuit or that chocolate, and so many people are like that, they say to me, I can start, but I can't stop.
Yes. So it starts like with a psychological compulsion.
Yes. If I have this biscuit, I feel better.
Yes.
And then before they know it, the whole packet's gone. They have no intentions of eating the whole packet, but once they start, the physiological, the chemical is in the brain, and it sets off that compulsion, and the whole packet is gone.
Yes. And what about hiding food? Do food addicts do that?
Food addicts hide food because they're in denial. They don't really want anybody else to know that they're using food for comfort.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people look upon it as willpower, but willpower is soluble in sugar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what they say about alcohol.
That's what they say about alcohol. Willpower is soluble in alcohol. I say willpower is soluble in sugar.
Oh,
Sugar
okay.
is a major addiction.
Yes, that's right. So, you wouldn't see a food addict addicted to a salad.
No.
No.
No, a food addict is addicted to sugar and carbs.
Yes, mainly to
A
sugar.
true food addict is addicted to sugar and carbs.
Yes.
An alcoholic is addicted to alcohol, which
Yes.
is loaded with sugar.
Oh, true. Yeah. So, that addiction is very strong, isn't it?
Extremely strong, and people have a problem with sugar. Is the major addiction. Sugar is more powerful than cocaine. Sugar is harder to get off than cocaine.
Yes, a lot of patients tell me that. So, Wendy, people can be addicted to sugar and carbohydrate for many, many years and don't recognise that it is an addiction and don't recognise, therefore, that they need help to break that cycle.
That's right, Sandra. Unfortunately, people are addicted to sugar, particularly if they've been on diets, on yo-yo diets for many, many years. They go on a diet for a week, 10 days, and fall off the wagon, and they have no idea. It's generally because they say, well, I've worked too hard, or it's the kids, or it's the husband, or it's the wife. The real reason is that they do have an addiction, and it needs to be addressed.
Yes, addiction's very, very interesting. And, people think, oh, yeah, I'm addicted to cigarettes, nicotine.
Yes, yes.
I'm addicted to alcohol. I'm addicted to gambling.
Yes.
But sugar, well, that seems benign, doesn't
It's socially acceptable.
it? Yeah, which makes it harder to break.
That's right. Makes it harder to accept that they are addicted to sugar.
And it's easy to hide.
And it's very easy to hide. You don't have to hide your biscuits.
Yeah, interesting. So, food addiction can be very, very powerful. As you said, sugar for a lot of people is more addictive than cocaine. And that's a frightening place to be for people. So we need to understand why, we can become like this. So what are the causes of food addiction?
Well, in my experience, the main cause for food addiction is low self-esteem.
Yes. And would that be related to codependency?
Yes, codependency is low self-esteem. Codependency is low self-esteem, and it can be fixed, it can be treated.
Oh, good. Yeah. A lot of people have heard the word codependency and they think, oh, I'm not that. What does that mean?
Okay.
It's a hard thing for your brain to get itself around, like
Yes.
codependency. What am I, codependent with food, or am I codependent with my mother, or whatever? Does that mean that your happiness or your self-esteem is dependent on approval from others?
Exactly, Sandra. Codependency is low self-esteem, which means we are dependent on other people for how we feel. It manifests itself in people pleasing. We don't have the ability to say no. We're always saying yes, being a people pleaser. We put other people's welfare first before ourselves. We protect other people. We want to be liked by other people, and so therefore we do things for other people that we would not normally be happy with, and we get resentful, upset, and we use food for comfort.
Yes. So to overcome that unhappy behaviour, we would need to work on our self-esteem.
Definitely, yes.
Which requires counselling.
Requires counselling, and I also then look at the brain chemistry aspect of it.
Yes.
To help people with self-esteem issues.
Okay, yeah, so you're saying that brain chemistry is very, very important.
It is very right. It correlates with codependency. When I'm treating people, the brain chemistry comes first.
Yes.
The serotonin and the dopamine neurotransmitter, and then I follow up with codependency counselling.
Yes. Well, you know, brain chemistry is really important because the neurotransmitter dopamine, which is predominantly made in the frontal lobes, but also all over the brain, is the chemical that makes us feel satisfied, rewarded, gives us pleasure. So we all want a lot of that, right? We all want to feel high. It gives you a natural high. And indeed, dopamine is produced when you fall in love, if you have an orgasm, if you do something you really enjoy. Let's say you're addicted to nicotine and you have a cigarette, it'll spike your dopamine. Or let's say you're a heroin addict and you have a hit, it'll spike your dopamine. And for someone who is addicted to food, and they go and eat ice cream or something, bang, yeah.
You have some sugar, you get a hit. So when you're looking for something to make yourself feel better, you go and have a Lamington, and you get an instant fix because there is chemicals in Lamington that make us feel better, that put us on a high. Have 2 Lamingtons, we feel a lot better.
Yes.
When we go without the Lamingtons, or we're on a diet and we deplete ourselves of sugar, we go through withdrawals. We become depressed, we become irritable. It's exactly the same as an alcoholic going off alcohol.
Yes.
Someone going on a diet, cutting back on sugar, will go through similar withdrawals.
Yes, I've noticed that. And it's partly because their blood sugar is going like this. So to stabilise their blood sugar, they need to eat more protein and take chromium and magnesium and herbs like gymnema. And that will stabilise those big dips that make them like, I've got to have sugar, they get shaky and headachy. And it is like a withdrawal, as you say, from alcohol. The other thing too that I think is interesting is that in our brain, dopamine is made from an amino acid called tyrosine. And research has shown that people who overeat generally don't make enough dopamine compared to someone who doesn't overeat, and that they have to eat a lot more food to spike their dopamine to normal amounts.
That's right.
So it's obviously important to fix that brain chemistry. Now we can do that partly with antidepressant drugs, but then antidepressant drugs can put on weight as well, so it's better to do it naturally to build up the dopamine, this chemical of satisfaction and reward. So let's all go and fall in love. Now that's hard to do, isn't it, sometimes?
Well, it does. The lack of dopamine produces, if people want to know, if you'd like to know what are the symptoms of low tyrosine in the dopamine neurotransmitter, excessive appetite.
Yes.
And we will then consume more sugar and carbs than is necessary for us. Mood swings. Attention, we have very low concentration span, we have trouble focusing, and we get bored very easily. And so they're the symptoms of low dopamine in the neurotransmitter, which is the centre of satisfaction. So why do we eat? Why do we look for food for comfort? To feel satisfied.
Yes, that's right, to spike our dopamine.
To spike those dopamine levels up.
Yeah, so the dopamine is truly the chemical of satisfaction and reward. And, you know, we need to make sure that people have enough dopamine. So we know that tyrosine is the raw material to make the dopamine. So are you getting enough tyrosine? Well, you get tyrosine in foods, as you can see in this slide here, predominantly protein food. And For some people that's enough, you know, eating protein regularly helps. But for people who have a really bad dopamine deficiency, it's more effective to give the pure amino acid tyrosine by itself. And that way the other amino acids don't compete with the tyrosine to get into the brain. So you can have tyrosine as a supplement, and generally in a powder form, hasn't got any taste, so it's easy to take in water or just in a juice. But you don't take the tyrosine with other protein. You take it away from protein, so you don't have that competition. And generally people tell me that tyrosine will work quickly.
Yes.
And I know you've used it in your clients.
Yes, within 15 to 20 minutes, tyrosine will give you that sense of well-being and enable you to have focus, more concentration, and to be more proactive.
Yes.
With your diet.
Yeah, that's right. To feel motivated.
Right? That's it. Yeah. We have lack of motivation. That's one thing I forgot to mention. We do have lack of motivation and enthusiasm. If our dopamine is depleted, we feel unmotivated. We're not interested in life. We lose interest in everything, and it can also bring on mild depression.
Yes, lack of dopamine will cause depression, and as you say, lack of interest. You know,
lack
you just
of interest
feel bored.
In life. Yes.
Yeah. So
get very bored easily.
You know, we really need the dopamine, and the brain chemistry is so important, isn't it?
And all those reasons, the symptoms of deficiency in dopamine will send us off to the kitchen looking for food for comfort. And it also affects our relationships with other people. It has a toxic effect on our relationships with our husband, with our partners, with our children, because if we're irritable and we're not feeling very well, it will rub off onto family members and friends. Definitely. So it's very important to keep your brain chemistry balanced.
That's right. So, you know, when we look at the addiction to sugar, a very powerful addiction, and of course it's not just sugar, eating it out of the bowl.
No.
It's also the sugar found in bread, pasta, donuts, cakes, biscuits, pretzels, alcohol, a lot of alcohol is very high in sugar, like wine.
Yes.
And so you've got that chemical imbalance. So you have a hit of sugar, your blood sugar's going up and down like this, your insulin goes up, your leptin hormone doesn't work. All those things will make you physiologically dependent on sugar. Yes. You won't feel well without it. And the other thing that perpetuates addiction is the lack of dopamine. So we've got to stabilise the blood sugar in food addictions, and we've also got to build up the dopamine. So we can do that with the tyrosine, magnesium. I've found that helps.
Glutamine,
yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, Wendy. Yeah. Glutamine is a wonderful amino acid.
Wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, I think amino acids are very underutilised in people.
Yes, they are, very much so. People do not understand the importance of amino acids.
Yes. I know, we rush into the antidepressants.
We do.
The statistics show that 1 in 3 people who go into a pharmacy are going there for a prescription for antidepressants. So, you know, there's major problems with people's brain chemistry in society today, and a lot of it's to do with our high carbohydrate, high sugar diet, which sets us up for food addiction.
Definitely.
And failure with our weight.
Definitely.
So we need to know, well, what can we do naturally to balance our brain chemistry so that it's easier for us to stay away from addictive foods? Well, tyrosine we've mentioned, it's a wonderful amino acid, but glutamine is something that everybody should know about, because glutamine is an amino acid that your brain can use as a food or a fuel instead of sugar.
Instead of sugar, that's right. Yeah, there's so much available. We have so many resources available. We have so many products available to help people.
Yes, in this day and age. And glutamine's also very good if you have inflammation in the gut.
Yes.
And people who eat a lot of sugar will often have a very leaky gut, and that's gut inflammation, and that makes them tired and crave more sugar. So glutamine can heal your brain, right? And then your brain can use it for fuel. It can help you think more clearly. It's the thinker's amino acid, and it can heal your gut, and that's going to help with weight loss as well. So yeah, amino acids, magnesium, chromium, these things make a big difference to your brain chemistry. And so, you know, is important to get the brain chemistry right before you do the
Before I
counselling.
can start counselling. It's just like trying to drive from Camden to Sydney on a flat battery. The brain chemistry needs to be balanced before I can do my job and effectively counsel people about their low self-esteem.
Yes. Well, that's good. You're a counsellor who also looks after the brain chemistry. Great to see. And don't forget Wendy's book, Want to Lose Weight, but Hooked on Food. It could be your brain chemistry that's out of whack and also your self-esteem. So this book is brilliant. It really will open your eyes and help you a lot. And of course, don't forget Wendy does counselling by Skype and by telephone. She helps people all over the world. And she has a fantastic website. What's your website?
Courage to Change.
Yes. It does take courage to change. I often say to overcome the obstacles to becoming healthy, you have to be brave. And, you know, that's when you go outside of your comfort zone, isn't it?
That's right. Well, courage means commitment, doubt and action. Because without a certain amount of doubt, there is no courage.
Yes, that's true. I like that. And, so, you know, we can really help you with the Weightless Detective program, and Wendy's part of that program. So I'd like to thank you very much, Wendy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cabot. I appreciate it.
For being part of our DVD.